Hi everyone, my name is Kimberly, and I would like to talk about why I walked away. Number one is the elite progress narrative. I believe that it's the upper 20% of the economic class in the US that wants to maintain the liberal Democrat SJW narrative at all costs, and I believe that those people are honestly, as much as they're smart people, underneath it all, they're a bunch of snobs. And I think that their snobbery is what motivates them to have such terrible Trump derangement syndrome. I think that their class has spent a good 40 years exploiting the lower classes by not even knowing that they've been doing so. What has happened is since 1980, when I was about 7 years old, what happened was that Republicans and Democrats both sold out the working class, offshored all of the good jobs. You know, if you remember back in the day, right around the 1980s, when clothing suddenly got really inexpensive, well, that was the offshoring of clothes manufacturing, and that benefited the higher classes, and that was just one of a million things that really took the power away from the working class. You know, everything from automobiles to clothing, and even just every little thing in our lives that was manufactured kind of just went overseas to the lowest common denominator of whoever was willing to make it the most cheaply, and that really cut away most of our working class. Now, who benefits from that? That would be the upper 20%, the class that I was born into and that I fell out of in my 20s. And that's what I see, is that they're trying to maintain their power, even if they don't know they're trying to maintain that sort of power. That's what's going on, and that's the politicians they vote for. The second thing is bigotry. Bigotry against whites. Now, I myself, I'm half Japanese and half white, so I'm considered a person of color. That's a term I think is a racist term, because it means anyone who's not white. So what makes white people so special? And also, how can I be a person of color? And how can even, I'm half one and half the other, so, I don't even get to count in that weird thing. It's wrong to be bigoted against whites. It's wrong. It's just as wrong when people are bigoted against Asians or when they're bigoted against blacks. It's just, I've seen some of the most disgusting bigotry from white people against other white people, oddly enough. And what I've seen from black people doing to white people these days is vile. It's like, oh, it's okay for me to, it's okay for a black person to loot a store because they were oppressed back in 1863, back or before the Civil War. That's okay. Suddenly, I don't buy it. I mean, my ancestors were literally, my great grandparents, like 3 of them went through the Japanese internment camps. Does that give me any reason to go loot someone's store? I don't think so. So bigotry. And pandering. Pandering is disgusting. Hillary Clinton and her hot sauce comments, and that's an old one. But I mean, I think we see this a lot of pandering, like the white women on their knees in front of just random people who claim to be with Black Lives Matter. Effectively, who could be trolls. I find it disgusting. I will never get on my knees for another human being. I'd like to see them make me try it. Number 3, endless war to prop up empire. Where is the Democratic Party from the 1960s who fought against the Vietnam War? Where are they? Hello? The Democratic Party used to stand for something. Nowadays, it just is in lockstep with surveillance and war and censorship. I think that the Democratic Party has just completely turned its back on all its former values and become hysterical. Fear-mongering. Speaking of hysteria, notice that COVID forced us all to take sides there were the mask wearers, and there still are. There are the mask wearing Karens, and then there are the rest of us who just would like to, get our lives back. From Kavanaugh to COVID to the Kremlin, they're always paranoid about something. There's always something that they have to be paranoid about, like this week. And even though, rioters are allowed to go steal from a store, you're not allowed to shop at that store because of it's their paranoid bugaboo of the week, and they expect everyone to just, fall into line. Well, and then a couple more reasons. Their intellectual dishonesty. I'm vegan, so what that means is I'm supposed to be, online with, on board with all these people, these social justice types, and I've got to say, I am not that kind of vegan. I may not eat animal products, but I don't identify with any of the current just intellectual crappiness, just, oh, well, it's okay to have specious arguments, to move the Overton window towards towards logical fallacies. They engage in nothing but logical fallacies. There's fake news. They just make up stuff as they go along. They basically have decided it's okay to hate Donald Trump because he's ugly. And yeah, he's ugly, but I'm personally neutral about Trump. I really don't care. I think, I'm just like, oh, well, he's fine. I really don't think about it that much, but because I'm vegan, I'm expected, oh yeah, you have to toe the line. You have to be with all of us on our anti-Trump derangement stuff. I don't care. I mean, he's, he's Caesar. But they know nothing of history. At least they used to, but I feel like they would rather burn a statue down than learn that, oh, look, that was a statue of one of the original members of the Democratic Party, Andrew Jackson. Okay. Lastly is their whole must science thing, okay? Their science is actually bogus. I've never, the scientific method is something I'd like to see survive the coming, collapse and the coming, dark age. I really would like to see the scientific method continue on, but they're not using it. I mean, they game results with COVID. They inflate things. They say that, gunshot victims died of it because they had it in their system. And that's just one example of many. I mean, even global warming, definitely there's global weirding, but as far as like actual warming in general, that's part of, it's not necessarily man-made, okay? Because we're currently have been through a bunch of ice ages, and there's a lot of ebb and flow there. So, I mean, I believe that people are poisoning this earth and must stop, absolutely. And eating animals is actually a huge part of that, but believing in global warming and somehow by throwing money at something, by thinking that, oh, it's going to change because we increase taxes or we throw money at it, that isn't how it works. You really always have to start with yourself. You have to be the change. That's what I absolutely believe more than ever now. So that's why I'm making this video, because I want to be the change. And I want to encourage you, if you're, if you're used to kind of being in this leftist crowd and you've had to say goodbye, at least temporarily, to a lot of your friends because they're going Looney Tune with this anti-Trump stuff and all the aforementioned points, then I hope I give you some courage, and I hope here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait until after this election, and then once it's over, I'm going to see if there's any people that come back to their senses, because I think they will. I think they'll be like, oh wait, the election's over and the world didn't end and it's fine and we're all gonna be fine. And I think something's gotta give, right? So if you enjoy this, please like it, and I have other channels and other stuff I do. Please check it out in the description, and look forward to seeing your comments if you're willing to do that. Thanks. Bye-bye.